Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Raven here. I just wanted to make a video, kind of tell you about why I do what I do. I practice magic, obviously, and I like to share it with others, and I just kind of wanted to put it out there that I would never put something out there or try to tell somebody to do something if I didn't think that it worked, you know. Um, the reason I practice this stuff is because, I have a lot of problems in my life. That's why I started doing these things. And I wouldn't waste my time or your time to make all these videos and all this stuff unless I really thought this stuff helped and worked, and it does. I mean, it helps people of like mind, I guess you could say, people my age, people like me. I'm a younger guy, I'm not rich. I have to work hard for what I have, and I have problems in the past and now, and I do these things because they do actually help, and I study them and I make sure that they come from, real factual sources, and the people that I learn from, they also practice this because it helps them as well. It's not something that you're just gonna snap your fingers and be rich and successful. It's kind of I don't know, instead of being depressed and sitting there and doing nothing and thinking everything sucks and having no religion and no faith, which a lot of people my age and, a lot of people my age don't have. They don't have faith or religion. They're spiritual. They always say, well, I'm a spiritual person, but I don't have a religion. Well, that's where I was at before. I knew that there was something bigger, a bigger connection, but I just didn't really take the time to care about it. And magic is kind of a different way of looking at it and a different way of changing your mind. Instead of sitting there doing nothing, it gives you something to do. Like, it gives you a course of action. I'm constantly doing it. I think that's kind of one of the problems of it, though, is there's so much of it and you almost become obsessed with it. And there's so much art and reading and practice and meditation and all these things that you can do. You kind of find yourself always doing it and trying to figure it out, and you ignore the important things, I guess. But you got to try to balance it out, and once you figure that out, it helps you. It's the basic stuff. It helps you with depression and get on with your daily stuff, like going to work and making sure the bills are paid and everything like that. But it also mainly teaches you how to reset your mind. Don't let them create that creative blockage, so to speak. And you've been told all your life that magic isn't real and it doesn't work, or whatever it is you think. Don't let them make you think that. Analyze it, study it, figure it out for yourself. You can do everything if you try. You can't be constrained to what someone tells you, even to what I tell you. I mean, don't believe what anybody tells you unless you truly examine it, research it, and figure it out for yourself. And if it makes sense to you and it feels right, then do it. I mean, it's the part of one of the laws of magic is knowing yourself. Self-knowledge. Knowledge is power. If you know something or a topic about something, you can teach somebody. You become the power of the room. You are explaining this knowledge to other people. You are sharing it. You can't affect the outside world unless you look in. You know what I mean? There's a saying that says your vision will become clear when you can look into yourself. He who looks outside dreams. He who looks inside awakens. So you gotta get to know yourself, man. You gotta test yourself, figure out what you're capable of. Don't be insecure. Explore all angles. Don't take one person's view on something. Take the many views of things and put them all together. It's like another example of, you got three blind guys and they've never seen a elephant before, and they all go up and they feel the elephant with their hands, and one guy says, well, the elephant feels like a snake because he's touching his trunk, and the other guy's touching his side. He says, well, no, the elephant feels like a big wall. Well, they're sitting there arguing back and forth about what it is, and they're all telling the truth, but just different truths. That's kind of the polarity thing. You don't want to get pulled into one group, because once you're in that group, every other view that disagrees with that group becomes automatically wrong. You don't take the time to stop and figure it out and think about it or analyze it yourself, because the group's already done that for you. Don't get pulled into that. I mean, being in groups is not a bad thing, but you just got to be very careful about what group you choose to be in, because you start to lose your sense of individual responsibility when you become a group. It's kind of like a riot or a big group of people running down the street. They're breaking stuff and hitting people, and why are they doing that? In a group, you wouldn't do that individually, because you would, reap the consequences. You'd go to jail or get hurt or whatever. But in a group, for some reason, if they're doing it, you feel like it's okay to do it, and you start doing things that you normally wouldn't do. So just be careful about, groups and people and the views they have, and make sure it's the clear view that you want, because a lot of people forget who the leaders are in the group. Once the group gets so big, everyone just kind of looks around and assumes that the next person knows who's leading the group, and pretty soon they forget, and they forget what they're doing and where they're going. And it's just, statistics said that in 100 people, 5 people can control the other 95. There'll be 5 people that can, lead the people like a herd of sheep, and the other 95 people will just follow the next without asking why, because they just assume the next person's doing it for a good reason. And you just can't be that way. You can't be controlled. You got to make sure you know what you're doing. It's part of knowing yourself. And there's a lot of other laws and things about magic that helps everyday life. I don't want to drag this out too much longer, but I just want to put it out there that I'm putting this out here to express myself, and if you're not expressing yourself, you are depressing yourself. So I mean, if you're sitting around with no faith and nothing to do, I think boredom brings on stress and depression, because you're bored and your mind starts wandering, and you start worrying more than you should, creating negative energy, and it all builds up, and it sucks. So I mean, magic is, like I said before, it's a course of action to take to kind of keep your mind idle and open up your views and doors about what you can do. There's so many different areas of magic. Like my series on planetary magic, it's about knowing thyself, learning what you are about and what you can do, and learning about the doors that are open to you, and not being constrained to your subconscious view that was created when you were a child. And doing magic or studying and doing these things helps reset or recreate your subconscious mind. You may not think it's very important, but it's scientifically proven that 88% of your brain is controlled by your subconscious, and the other 12% is your conscious. I found that pretty amazing, actually. You didn't think that your subconscious controls most of your mind, but it does. And this is a thing that a lot of magicians use when you're confused, or a lot of symbols are flashed in front of you, kind of like signs when you're driving down a highway. Why would they put signs up? You're supposed to be driving and paying attention to the road, and all the lights and flashing signals, and your radio is playing. Well, your subconscious mind is vulnerable to impression when you're confused, or a lot of when you're trying to focus on other things. So they got this sign on the road that says vote for me, and you don't really pay attention to it, and you're driving by, and later on that night you're having dreams about these signs saying vote for this person, and then you find yourself voting for that person. It's magic. It's a method of subconscious programming, to program you to listen to them, to make you believe that everything they say and their rules and laws are right and nobody else is, and they get you polarized to all of their ideas. Groups will manipulate you and lead you to believe wrong things. So don't let them make you look like a joker. If someone asks you about your religion or your practice and you don't truly understand it or know it, and you can't explain it to them, you look like a joker. And you seem to them like you're trying to create a fake picture, and you can't do that. You have to find the real picture. You have to find your real truth and understanding of it. And magic is a way of understanding things better. So I think, magic should be incorporated into religion, but I think you should kind of jump into the basics of magic first, because magic helps you analyze religion. And it's said that magic is like walking a circle around a subject. You see all sides to it. You're using different senses and ways and methods to read things and feel things, so you get all the different views. You walk a circle around the subject or idea or concept to get a clearer picture of if it fits you and what you want to do. I'm not saying jump into calling gods and entities that you're uncomfortable with. There's simpler methods of magic that you can practice, like mind transformation and learning how to know yourself better. And once you do that, once you know yourself, you find out what you want, and then you can choose your religion and follow it with, courage and the fact that you understand it completely. And if someone asks you about it, you can explain it fully, because you fully understand it, because you took the time to use methods of understanding. And that's a lot about what magic is about. It's about using different methods to understand and imprint things into your subconscious mind to use them later to improve your life. So if you're choosing a religion, that's kind of like imprinting your subconscious mind with an idea or a faith or a thought that you should live a certain way, and you need to analyze that to make sure that's the way you want to live and that's the way you want to be. And that's what magic's about. So I think magic is very important in learning your religion and learning yourself. Personal belief will enhance your magic and your spiritual practice. The definition of magic, like I've said before, is causing a change in conformity with your intent or will. Now, you look at religions, and some religions pray. While praying, aren't you focusing and intending or praying for something to happen? That's the same way magic works. You're focusing energy and you're sending it. So, magic and religion have connections, and if you do it right and understand it, they can work very well together. And there's a lot of different views about this, and I just wanted to make clear my view that I think magic and religion go very well together, but I think magic should be your start. So, realize the way you think so you can use your real eyes to see the real lies in front of you before you make big decisions like religion, or deciding to join a group, or deciding to devote yourself to something that labels you. Thanks for listening. This is Tim Raven. Stay on the positive path, and I'll see you next time.